So we're going to move into a little bit of addressing some emotional ways of how you can help reduce some of the stress in your life. And one of those is through problem versus emotion-focused coping. When we're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, it's sometimes hard to even stop and identify what the primary problem is. Sometimes we just get caught up in all of the problems and all of the stress that we're overlooking really what is the problem. So with this model it's looking at the stress in your life or the problems and identifying what is the problem, what is the source of stress right now that I'm encountering. So maybe the problem is that you've got your loved one has chemo all day tomorrow and there's nobody to pick up the kids from school. Well, using this model, you look through and say, well, can I change it? No, I need to be with my partner who's getting chemo. Okay, if I can't change it, can I change it? Yes, I can change it, because then I can try to start to identify who else can pick up the kids. Is now a good time to work on it? Yeah, because it's tomorrow. So now is a good time. Do I have the resources to work on it? So it's sort of looking at, identifying who would I call to help me in this moment. And so that's following down through the problem-focused coping. Sometimes, though, there are problems that don't have an easy solution. And in that case, we're looking at more emotion-focused coping. So that may be finding ways to cope with the feelings that are arising out of maybe living with uncertainty or not having control over completely changing the problem. So this slide kind of breaks down some examples of what problem-focused coping looks like in what emotion-focused coping looks like. So part of identifying the problem is problem solving. So that may lead you to get organized. Maybe it's time management, and it's forcing you to look at your schedule differently. Assertive communication to manage stressors. So it's equipping you to take action, to do something about the problem. Versus emotion-focused coping, which is, again, looking at, I don't have total control over this. And a lot of times that leads to more worry and sometimes anxiety. And so it's looking at, how do I cope with this? Maybe it's distraction. And I think that's a really big one, is finding ways to, healthy ways to distract. So that could be going to a movie or going on a walk or drinking a cup of coffee with a friend, getting the emotional support that you need. Practicing relaxation. Mindfulness is part of relaxation. Mindfulness is a type of intervention that helps you to really focus on the present. So much of stress and worry is future-oriented. Well, mindfulness kind of counters that to, how do I focus on the present, on the here and the now? What are my thoughts and my feelings? Kind of looking at it without any expectations or judgment. And there's lots of mindfulness resources out there, and we can talk about that a little bit later. Problem solving, which is a coping skill as part of coping with the problem versus emotion focused coping. And again, when we're feeling really overwhelmed and stressed, we're oftentimes not thinking very clearly. And it's very easy for folks to get stuck in one of these steps. And when you look at this, it seems so simple. Like, oh yeah, problem solving. This makes total sense. I do this. But if you stop and think about it, when you're feeling overwhelmed, oftentimes you're stuck somewhere in this process. So it may be that you're not identifying the true problem. Or sometimes I see folks a lot get stuck in the brainstorming. So it's sort of like, we're going to identify all these things we could do, but we're not going to actually implement a plan on carrying it out. So it's important to pay attention to this, because this is a way to, there's so many problems in the cancer journey. And problem solving is, I think, vital to coping and getting through the cancer journey together. So I would encourage you to use this model and to pay attention to it.